Hey YouTube, I was asked a question this morning on TikTok. They said, is Denver Harris going to Colorado? He's been in the portal for quite some time. If you don't know Denver Harris, former five-star defensive back. I have been very critical of Denver Harris. I think he's a cancer in locker rooms. I think he's the reason LSU had a fight at practice that resulted into a brawl, carried over into the locker room. He's been suspended multiple times, was not in the team photo at LSU, was kicked out of Texas A&M, whether you believe it or not. He was suspended indefinitely and never played there again after having a very troubled, freshman year. This is a kid who played at North Shore coming out of high school. So when I start getting questions like, is Denver Harris coming to Colorado? First thing I thought was, well, that's ridiculous. Where is this coming from? I haven't talked to anyone in Colorado. I haven't asked any of the coaching staff, hey, are you guys interested in him? Anything of that nature. So I didn't even see where it was coming from. So I had to do a search on the internet, and I'm like, what is this? And so I found it. 4 hours ago, TJ Inman wrote this story for Sports Grid, and he's talking about possible destinations for Denver Harris. So there's 5 different destinations. Number 1, Texas A&M. This is a place where he was already at. Obviously, Mike Elko would have recruited him while he was in high school for multiple years, so would be familiar with Denver Harris. Not his character, not his work ethic, but his skill set on the field, which, by the way, Denver Harris' ability to play football has never been in question, never been in doubt. That's not even part of the equation for me. I understand he's a hell of an athlete and a hell of a football player. That is not what I'm concerned with. What I'm concerned with is, how do you impact the locker room? How do you impact chemistry, camaraderie, continuity within the team? Like, those are the things that I'm concerned with. So hearing that there was interest at A&M, I'd imagine Mike Elko is trying to find talent and willing to, I guess, sacrifice certain aspects of a player's personality for the sake of the bottom line. Are you going to make our football team better? So this one feels like a ridiculous option. Going back to a school you were just previously kicked out of, essentially. Misconduct was everywhere. I understand the other 5 players that were kicked out of school, Smoke Bowie, Ish Harris, Williams, Chris Marshall, like, they're all on different teams now, or they're not even at their new schools. They don't even play football anymore. So it was just a lot of recruiting misses, if you ask me. But Denver Harris going to A&M doesn't make sense. Next option. Alabama Crimson Tide. If you can't play at LSU and you can't play at A&M and you're not in the 2 deep, you can't play at Alabama. Like, I hate to break it to these kids who keep transferring from one Power 5 school to another Power 5 school. You can't play at the next school, bro. I don't know how to break it to you, but there's good players, and you're not good enough. Now, I was critical of Damani coming over from USC, but I got news for you. This one would be far worse, because at least Damani Jackson, at least he's a good player or a good person, a good locker room person. By all accounts, never been in trouble or suspended from the school. Don't bring in Denver Harris. No, Kalen DeBoer, this is not an option. I understand you lost 5 defensive backs, 2 to the NFL, 3 to the portal. We don't go down this route. Nah. Hard pass. Next option. Houston. Houston, bringing Denver Harris back to his hometown of Houston. First and foremost, what I have seen from Willie Fritz in the transfer portal is he is signing a different caliber of player. And when I say that, I'm talking about an academically gifted athlete. He's bringing in quality young men that impact the locker room immensely. By the way, Halsey here led the team in tackles, transfer coming in from last season. I predicted it. I put him in my top 10 transfer portals players, impact players. I had Halsey up there because I saw everything he did at New Mexico. So that was an easy one to call for me. But nonetheless, you're looking at a guy, Willie Fritz, coming in from Tulane, a high academic institution, very high character guy, knows what he's doing. I don't necessarily see him bringing in Denver Harris. The last thing you want to do is get Denver Harris back in his hometown, back with all his old high school buddies, making poor decisions. This does not work for me. I think it's a terrible choice, and I hope they don't do it. I hope they don't sign him. Texas Longhorns makes 0 sense. You can't play at LSU. You can't play at A&M. You can't play at Texas. Stop chasing the not self-proclaimed, but the anointed 5-star athlete from rivals, from On3 or 24/7 Sports. These websites, they miss too. They miss on recruits. They over-evaluate certain players. They give players too many stars, whatever it is, and they did not evaluate work ethic and character. So, no, don't go to Texas. And the last option on this article is Colorado, and that's why I'm getting all the questions about it. It happens in an instant. There are thousands upon thousands of you. They write me immediately as soon as they read something like this. Is he going over here? It makes sense. Go play for Coach Prime, one of the greatest corners, blah, blah, blah. Nah. I think there's no need. There's no need at the position group. It's not a necessary move by any means. The quality of players they've brought in this summer, or I'm sorry, this winter portal, transfer portal, has been great. And I think they'll work over the summer and get better talent for what they're bringing in. In other words, they're going to get more value out of who they've brought in. They're going to get more juice for the squeeze, or juice for the squeeze. I don't agree with Denver Harris going to Colorado in the slightest. Look, man, they've named, this guy wrote this article, and they named every major university and then Colorado in the area where Denver Harris is from. I think Denver Harris belongs at Tulsa. I think Denver Harris belongs at North Texas or SMU, UTSA. I think he belongs in a place where he can be humbled and understand that he missed his opportunity at Power 5 or Power 4 football. That's what I think. I think when you make mistakes in life, even at a young age, you should not have your whole life ruined, but the trajectory of your life should change. I want to make that very clear. If you get arrested for multiple things or for something, and you get kicked out of school for a mistake, the way you bounce back from those mistakes is not enrolling at an equivalent parallel, not enrolling at the rival to your current school or anything of that nature. No. You have to take a step back and earn it the hard way. And if you don't bottom out, you're just never going to be there. You're never going to get to where you think you're supposed to be. At least in my infinite wisdom, right? At least from my perspective, I've only been studying this thing for about 20, 30 years, 25 years. I'm going to tell you that, 25 years for sure. I became a sports writer in the year 2000. And at that moment in time, I started studying players making mistakes, making decisions that weren't conducive to their playing career. And I never forget watching players transfer from Arkansas to USC. Shout out to Mitch Mustain. Or, players that thought they deserved a chance to play at the highest level, and it never really panned out for them. And I think Denver Harris is on this trajectory. No, he does not belong at Colorado. No, I don't think he belongs at any Power 5 program. I think he makes your team worse. And you need to be cognizant of the fact that when you're bringing in a transfer that might disrupt your chemistry and the camaraderie within your locker room and the brotherhood that you're building, you just need to understand the only thing that's ever going to change that is people's perception of the coaching staff. In other words, some people will think a coach can handle it. A coach can mold him and shape him into a better person and player. It's not necessarily true. These coaches are great men, and they probably believe that they can do it. But I believe 80 to 90% of your development as a college football player is on you. It's on that individual player to watch the film, to lift the weights, to put in the work academically, to continue to work out after practice, to just push yourself to the limits physically and mentally. I believe self-development is on the player. We give so many coaches credit for developing players. We talk about it all the time. Oh, look what they can do at K-State, and look what they do at Bama. Oh, they're great evaluators of talent and developers of character and all this stuff, developers of players. Man, I'm telling you, I developed leaders in the military for 20 years, and the best soldiers I ever had were those that were self-driven. Those that worked out after hours, those that woke up extra early. I can remember getting to work in the mornings. We go to PT at 6 a.m. I remember walking up to the formation. I'm looking across my formation. Who are my stellar soldiers in this formation? Who am I going to train, mentor, and mold into greatness? Who's going to replace me one day? And I remember looking across the formation, and I looked in this formation, and there was 3 dudes covered in sweat at 6 a.m. And I looked at them, and I said, what the hell's wrong with you guys? And they said, Top, we got up at 4:45. We did a 3-mile ruck this morning before PT, and we're ready to get it in with you. We're here to work out. Yeah, my workout's tough, and it's going to get them in shape, and I'm going to lead them and make them stronger. But oh my goodness, are those 3 individuals who have the discipline and the drive and commitment to get up at that time to go grind, they're the most amazing ones. Right? They're the ones that it's a joy to lead those men. It's a joy to mentor and mold those men into great ones because they were driven to be great. I can relate. I know what it is. If you watch me on TikTok Live, you see me. I'm grinding in front of my lab, in front of my computers and my towers and all my rated hard drives. I'm grinding at 4 a.m. for a video I'm going to make at 6. And it doesn't matter if I get paid or not, I'm doing it because I know what I need to do to be great. And I look at players like Denver Harris and I say, when's the last time you grinded for anything in your life without being told to? Right? Without being told, this is what you need to do. This is the workout for the day. This is how you need to push yourself. When did you go out and become proactive and become self-driven to be great? Those are the best players. And I wouldn't add you to my locker room unless you were cut from that cloth mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I always say it when I do film review. I say, hey, I could win a game with 100 of these guys. I could win a war with 100 of me. It's a mindset. And now it would be a gift if you could find that in a 6'3", 210-pound frame, right? Something like that, whatever it is. But for me, Denver Harris is not cut from that cloth. He's a very gifted individual who doesn't understand the next echelon or the next step required. And that's life. So is it. You know, not everybody's perfect. Not everybody's Travis Hunter and going out there and grinding and getting the reps in when nobody's looking. Nope. You think you can play every down in a football game? You ever seen him do his sprints and he not winded? It's a gift, but it's also driving yourself when no one's looking and you're self-driven and you want to be great. And I don't think Denver Harris has it. Just being real. Ill decisions, right? Substandard decision making, it'll get you every time. Remember this. You either get better or you get worse every single day. You either get better or you get worse. You never stay the same. So what did you do today to get better? How many reps did you put in? How many workouts did you do? What did you study? What did you read? You can apply that to anything. Some of you guys want to lose weight? How do you lose weight? You either get better or you get worse today. So what did you do today to work towards your goal? Because there's goals and there's dreams. Goals are something you work towards every single day. What did you do today that is tangible, that is getting towards those goals? If you have dreams and you don't work towards them, that's what they are. They're just out there. If you don't work towards a goal, it's just a dream, and that shit ain't happening, bro. It ain't coming to truth. Like, it's not coming to fruition. I have no advice for Denver Harris. I just know that if I was a coach, wouldn't be signing him to my staff. He's not built like that. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.